if you can really accept and embrace that, then your life will be changed.
Are you hungry? I hope you are, because today I'm sitting down with Alyssia Sheikh, the founder of Mind Over Munch, the all-encompassing resource and blog about food, fitness, and fun. Between Alyssia's super entertaining YouTube channel, her well thought out and super informative ebooks, her beautiful Instagram photos, and her wonderful blog, she shares delicious recipes that are guilt-free and figure-friendly alternatives to many of our favorite foods. Today, Alyssia shares how she began Mind Over Munch as a personal journey to eat clean for 100 days on Instagram to now having a super successful business that she's able to run from home as her own boss, making her own rules while doing what she is super passionate about. Alyssia has created both a business and a life that she loves. I know that you will learn a lot about how she has done it all. Then you'll want to pop over to her YouTube to start cooking up some of her amazing recipes yourself. Alyssia, I am so excited that you're here today.
Yes, thank you for having me, Molly.
Oh my gosh. When I found out you were coming to LA, Southern California, I was like, will you please come hang out with me? So
yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
I remember when we first met each other, and that was through your Instagram called 100 Days of Clean Eating.
Yeah.
And I remember, just following you and not only watching all of the awesome stuff that you shared with everybody, like that was so cool, but I have watched your Instagram grow, and then you just provide all this awesome information. And then when you changed it over to Mind Over Munch, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is so talented.
Thank you.
And getting to know you has been so fun. So will you share your story with us and
Sure.
where you started and how this became, not only your passion, but how it's now your purpose and what you love to do?
Sure.
I want to hear from you.
So 100 Days of Clean Eating is where this whole project began. But my fitness passion, my health and fitness passion kind of began a little bit before that. Mm-hmm. I was never the athletic kid growing up. I always wanted to be. I would try out for sports and I was never really good. But in college, I actually gained some weight, as some of us do in college. And I went to group fitness classes and started to change my diet and all of those things. And a lot of my instructors really inspired me and they got me so excited about fitness. And for the first time, I realized I could be athletic without having to be, coordinated.
Yes.
And I became a group fitness instructor because of a lot of those instructors' motivation and inspiration. And teaching is what really got me excited, right. Which is one of the things we've always connected on.
Definitely.
So teaching group fitness really kind of opened that passion for me. And it wasn't until I moved to New York, that's where I really started pursuing the teaching. I didn't move there to teach. I studied graphic design in college, and so I went to New York to get a big graphic design job. And after about 3 weeks of the job, I quit because I hated working 9 to 6. I was like, the days are long and it's boring and it's not inspiring, and I don't really get to give back anyway. And I was like, I just want to teach fitness. So I did that, but I was also really poor. And so I had to make a lot of our own food. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't go out all the time because eating out was really expensive. And so we were trying, to eat well. And I got really excited about cooking, which is something I never had done before. And I used to post to Instagram, like I had a personal Instagram account where I would post my food photos. And my friends would be like, can you just stop posting food photos? And I was like, what? So I started my own account. I was like, I'm just gonna start an account where I can post all the food photos I want and no one can say anything. That's awesome. And I decided to do a challenge at the beginning of 2013 to eat clean for 100 days. So that Instagram, I just posted every day for the 100 days, things that I ate, workouts, tips, things that I learned. And I got a really good response. Like, people were so encouraging and motivating, and they were helping me change and I was helping them change. It was just so rewarding. And at the end of the 100 days, people were like, you're not gonna stop posting, are you? So it became Mind Over Munch. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there was obviously a process there. It didn't just become Mind Over Munch, but that's what I decided it would become. And my boyfriend Christian kind of got in on the project with me at that point and helped me make it become a website and where we could catalog the recipes and everything. So that's where that whole project really began, and that was about 1.5 years ago.
That's so great. And your Instagram, I remember when you had 100 Days of Clean Eating, everything that you shared was so helpful. It wasn't just, you know, photos of your food, but you taught things in there, and I thought that was huge. And then watching your transition was so, you know, great. And I think that you kind of began the wave of clean eating on Instagram. I'm not kidding. Back in 2013, that wasn't everywhere. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't the trend. And I know that now everyone, that's like a term that everybody uses. So you kind of invented that.
You know, I hate the term clean eating now after that Instagram because it's so subjective. One person thinks clean eating means this, one person thinks it means that. And my goal is never to tell anyone to eat or not eat anything. It's to help inspire people to just be the healthiest version of themselves that they can be. And that's why I was so happy to get away from the name 100 Days of Clean Eating, because I would post something sometimes and people would be like, well, that's not clean. So it was nice to come to a middle ground where I could be like, look, I'm just promoting health. I just want to help you be a better you and be a better me, and have it be separate from any specific lifestyle.
And Mind Over Munch is like, think before you put it in your mouth. Of what's in the ingredients.
Exactly. It's a little bit quirky, so it kind of reflects me and gets to go into my design background a little bit, but it all just like felt so right. I remember when I picked that name, I had been like brainstorming for weeks, and I knew it was right because I turned to Christian and I was like, what do you think about the name Mind Over Munch? And he's like, nah. And I was like, I like it. I'm going to do it anyway. And usually I would have like questioned it, but it felt so right that I was like, I don't care what anyone says. This is right, and I'm doing it.
Poor Christian's like, wait, was that my opinion?
But I think he would agree now that it was the right thing. But at that point, that I almost needed him to say no to feel it so strongly that I knew I wanted to pursue it.
Yeah, that's that feeling of like, oh no, it is right. That is, it's a great name. I really like it. So you went from, you know, doing this as more of like a hobby, and then what made you decide like, okay, I want to pursue this as my career, and also what made you go from, you know, wanting to like monetize on it and be, you know, do the things that it took to not only create your awesome blog and website to your crazy awesome YouTube channel. I am a huge fan of it.
Thank you. That's our main project right now. We're having a lot of fun with it.
Great.
So I actually have to give Christian the credit for starting the YouTube channel, because about, you know, 4 or 5 months into Mind Over Munch, we kind of realized that photos and a website weren't enough to get all of the information across that we wanted to. And I always channel my inner designer, because I think the one thing I learned in design school that I'll always keep with me is it's not about what the medium is, it's the way you solve the problem. So sometimes you want to make a book, but maybe a book isn't the right way to get the information across. And it just happened that video was such a good way to share this lifestyle and really get everything across, because sometimes you can't write it down, you have to say it. And so it was his idea, and at first I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know anything about video or YouTube or anything. I never watched a YouTube video, except for the cat ones. But
gotta watch those.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so it was kind of his idea, and I was like, I don't know how to edit, and he's like, oh, I'll figure it out. Because he's not a video editor. He's just like taught himself how to do it, and we just kind of took it on as a project for us together. It still wasn't like our main, it was still a hobby at that point, but that's when we really started to take it more seriously, and we realized once we started that, the engagement we were getting, how much we could affect people, and people would start emailing saying how we've helped them change their lives, and I know it was so rewarding, and that's when I realized like, I need to be doing this. Why should I do anything else when I can do something I'm so passionate about? The problem was, how do I make any money?
Right.
Because, and this is something that has been such a struggle. You have a passion and there is no, you know, tangible thing. You know, how you have a big following on Instagram, what do you do with it?
Right.
And even on YouTube, people think YouTubers are rich, but you actually make almost no money on YouTube. It's based on views, and you get fractions of a cent per view. So even if you have, thousands and thousands of subscribers, you're making $100 a month or something like that. It's nothing.
Okay.
So figuring out how to monetize, because until that point, I was just teaching fitness classes. I was teaching 25 classes a week in New York, living in a 500 square foot apartment, trying to do this hobby that took up 80 hours a week.
Did you sleep
and
at all?
Barely,
Okay.
barely. I mean, and sometimes we couldn't even sleep because when we'd film, we'd have to put the couch on top of the bed because the room was so small.
Talk about being a passion and making it work.
Oh
right?
my God,
That's
we
great.
did what we had to do, and we did that for a year and a half there, and it was intense, but it brought us to where we are now. So
That's
it's
really
been a journey.
inspiring that
Yeah.
you guys just knew you want to do it. And the fact that if you could affect one life, doesn't that make it so worth it? The person who writes to you and you're like, oh my gosh.
that
I don't
one
even know
bit
them.
of positive feedback, not even regarding you, but them,
Right.
how it makes them feel, or it's not even necessarily physical health, but mental health,
Right.
or feeling like they feel, motivated enough to go pursue their own dreams. That's like,
Yes.
that's rewarding enough in itself. So,
huge,
but it
yeah.
is hard because there's always the money issue, and it's a hurdle, and
Right.
trying to start something from nothing. We didn't have money to begin with. And how do you take something that's intangible and make it money? And not that my goal is ever money, but you have to live. You
Yes,
have to
you
pay
do have to
rent.
live,
You have to, have money to make money.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's a struggle, but it's not satisfying enough to just hear it falls into place. It doesn't just fall into place. You have to make it fall into place. You have to make every opportunity available to you. And that was kind of what we did, was take advantage of everything, make as many connections as we could, network with people, learn as much as you can, and then see what people of your audience want. So one of the things we turned to was the ebooks.
Oh, okay. Your ebooks are fabulous.
Thank you.
I cooked a bunch of the recipes from your Thanksgiving one.
Yes.
And your new one, the meal
Meal
prep
prep.
one, is so great.
It's completely different than the
Everybody
others.
needs
Yeah.
that.
Oh my God, the meal prep. So the first few ebooks we did were all recipe based. And this was really fun because I got to combine my design passion with my food passion.
Yeah, they're really nice looking.
Thank you. Thank you. So that was that was a perfect project for me. But I still didn't know anything about ebooks. I mean, I knew how to design and I knew how to cook, but I didn't know how to make an ebook. So you kind of just figure it out. You do your research, and if you really want it, you learn how to do it, or you outsource things you can't do. But after those recipe books, we were like, they're selling okay, but we need to make something that people really want. So that was one of the ways that we started to monetize, was even though we had these ebooks that did okay, we thought, what is something specific that people on Instagram are always asking for? And that's meal prep, which is still so super relevant to what we're doing in health and fitness. And everybody, if you prepare, then you stay on track so much better for the rest of the week. And one big problem with meal prep is everyone thinks it has to look like a bunch of Tupperwares laid out, but it doesn't. Okay. There are other things you can do to meal prep. And so creating that ebook was a huge feat because it wasn't just recipes, it was like writing actual content. I was like, I'm writing a real book here. This is something I never thought I would do.
Right. I can tell you put a lot of love into that too. That looks, it looks great, and there's so much information.
It's a lot. Thank you. A lot of information. And that was the hardest part, was organizing that information and making it accessible and making it easy to digest, because anytime you have a lot of information, it can get a little messy. But it was fun. So that was the first way we started to monetize. And that's probably my most fun or passionate way, because it's a product I create. Yes. So everything that goes into that, I know is me. And every dollar that I make from that feels so rewarding. We also started to do some Instagram and YouTube advertising and sponsorships and stuff like that. And on YouTube, that's really the way you're going to make money, is through sponsorships. And what's great about that in this field is you can promote products you love. Okay. So you don't have to promote anything you don't want to promote, and you shouldn't.
Right, that's not genuine.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You don't. I'm never going to tell anyone to use something that I haven't tested or don't want to use myself. But you can pick and choose a little bit, and I'm happy to share the products that I do use that help me live a healthier lifestyle with others. Now, is that money quite as rewarding? I mean, at the end of the day, $1 is $1. But when I get an ebook sale, I get so much more excited for that $5,
Right.
than for an Instagram advertisement or something like that. So I think you want to remember to always put the passion into it and let that be your driving project.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, you might pull money from a bunch of different sources, remember why you're doing it.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So with YouTube, did you and Christian figure out, like through trial and error, did you take classes on how to really make YouTube work? Because I know that there's, some little, like, not tricks, but like ways to really reach more people. So what was that like, that whole experience?
YouTube is like a huge game that nobody understands.
Okay.
Even like people that work there don't really understand it. It is trial and error. The thing about when we started our YouTube channel is it was like, let's just do this. Let's just do it for fun and like share the love. It wasn't like, let's make this our thing.
Right.
It's kind of become that, but it didn't start there. So if I had started the YouTube channel with that intention, I probably would have gone into it with a little more strategy. But since we didn't decide that until about 6 months to a year into it, we've gone about it a little bit differently. But we have taken classes. You read the handbooks, the YouTube handbooks. The best thing I have done is watch YouTube, because that's something I never did. I never was someone who watched YouTube videos.
Right. Besides the cats.
Yeah, besides cats.
Okay.
So forcing myself, and it's not like I don't enjoy it, I just was never a person who thought, I should go look that up on YouTube. I just Google it.
Yes.
But now every single week I have a period of time in my schedule where I just sit down and I have a list of YouTube channels that I watch.
Very smart.
And you just observe, what do people respond to? What are the trends? Because it is a whole separate community. Each platform, each social media platform is different. So you'll start to learn the things people do in Instagram, or like the hashtags and stuff like that. And you can become a part of that community by doing those things. And it's the same on YouTube, but it's completely different. So you have to learn, what are the things that YouTubers do? What are the types of videos that, health and fitness people do? What are the ones people respond to? And it is trial and error, so much of it, because you have to just see, well, did people like this video or did they not? And go from there. You learn really quickly what they do and don't like, but you have to be paying attention. YouTube isn't something that you can just go into and think, I'll post here and there and we'll see what happens. You have to go into it and be consistent and give it everything, because it's a lot of time.
And is it always changing? I feel like Facebook's always like evolving and changing. And the minute I think I figured that out, or Instagram, something changes. So
oh my God,
YouTube
Instagram always. Yep, YouTube's the same. They're always changing the algorithms for which videos get put to the top of the search. And you're never going to fully figure out the back end of YouTube. The best thing you can do, and this will be true for forever, is create good, honest content and be consistent. So there aren't really that many. There are some small things you can do with tagging your video to make it more accessible, but there aren't really any shortcuts that are going to put you to the top. And you don't really want the viral video. You don't want the video that like gets millions of views overnight, because those people aren't going to ever stick with you. You want the people who are going to come and be loyal, even if it takes a little bit more time. They're going to stick with you for the long run.
Right, like Shalene Johnson calls them lifers.
Yeah,
people who know,
absolutely.
like, I need a recipe. I'm going to check out Mind Over Munch. They can count on you to give them good content. I think that's huge, awesome advice for everybody who's interested in doing this. One thing that stands out about you that I love is that you have always been you in your YouTubes. Like, I look forward to your personality, and you bring fun to food, which not a lot of people can do. Food can't, I think of...
Well, food can be fun, but healthy food.
Or just the way you present it and everything is actually super entertaining. So you bring that quality where I like leave your YouTube and I'm smiling and I'm like, oh my gosh. And because of you, I bought a mandolin and I bought all these different things. I'm serious.
I know. I remember when you emailed me one day and you're like, I just looked at the pasta sauce. You're like,
what do I do? I didn't know what I needed.
You were like, I can't believe there's so much sugar in this pasta sauce.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's so funny. But I have really definitely gotten a lot of new things for my kitchen because of you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And my kids, I'll make things and they're like, wait a minute, is this from your friend, Mom?
Yeah.
She's awesome.
That's so funny.
But I like that you're always genuinely you. I mean, have you ever felt the pressure to like be the other person on YouTube that's doing something else? And what has always brought you to be like, you know what, this is who I am, and I don't know. Like,
I mean,
go on that.
Yeah, you do compare yourself to others always. I think when you're doing this sort of medium, and you want to compare yourself because you want to see, well, what did other people do that worked or didn't work? But at the end of the day, our content is so different, and it makes it challenging because there isn't really anyone else that's doing healthy food and entertainment for access to all lifestyles. Because one thing that Mind Over Munch is not is we're not vegetarian, we are not vegan, we are not raw vegan, we are not paleo, we are not any specific lifestyle or diet. The goal is not to tell, like I said, anyone to eat or not eat this, to do or not do this. It is how can you learn to make your own healthy choices and figure out what works for you. There's no judgment. So we're not, someone might be brand new to the lifestyle, never have eaten a vegetable in their life, and someone might have been doing this for 10 years, but Mind Over Munch has something for everyone. Every video might not be for every person, but it has something for everyone. And that challenge is we don't have a specific niche because the target audience is everyone.
Right, and you even talk about like how everything's about moderation.
Yeah.
You're like, I like food, but I'm going to eat in moderation. And I think that that healthy lifestyle, nothing too extreme, is what people want.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks huge to people who will come back, and I like that part of what you share so much because it doesn't make me feel like I'm depriving myself. It's like I could still have this, but I'm just going to make it a little bit different.
Yeah, make it a little. I mean, what I kind of preach, if you will, is when I go out to eat, I don't want to have to order the salad.
Right.
So when I eat at home, why not make healthier choices that can still be delicious? So when I go out, I can treat myself. Yes. I mean, I don't want to deprive myself at home either, but if you can learn to have a healthier lifestyle, that 90% of the time, then the other time you're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about it. And there's no, fast track way. There's no shortcuts. A lot of people think that if they eat at a certain time of day or this or that it's just going to make the world of difference, when it's really like just eat well most of the time and you're good.
So your recipes are unique, and that's why I love them, because they're a healthy spin on, things that I love. So my question to you is, do you spend like hours in the kitchen or redoing a recipe and tasting it? And, how do you figure all that out?
So I do develop all of the recipes on my own. Usually they have been tested more than once. Sometimes it works out the first time. When it comes to cooking, so cooking like a meal with protein and vegetables, you can't really go wrong if you season it properly, but when it's baking is the real issue, because it's like a chemistry. So those baking, especially healthy baking, they fail a lot and they take a lot of trial and error. And what I like to do first is research how to cook whatever it is in the normal, which is usually the unhealthy way. So if I'm making a cheesecake, for instance, I did a video on showing people how I develop a recipe, so that's why I'm channeling this here. Yeah. But I will research all of the things that go into a typical cheesecake, and I'll think, well, what are the swaps I can make to make it a little bit healthier without sacrificing flavor? And so sometimes I'll just try it out, kind of keeping those same proportions, and it works, and a lot of times it doesn't work, and then I have to think, well, was this too moist? Does this need more moisture? Does this need more texture? And you kind of go from there. So I do spend a few days each week just cooking and photographing, because we do all of that ourselves. So I cook it, and then I photograph it, and then I usually eat it cold by the time I'm done photographing it.
I was going
but yeah. If it's for a photo, it's almost never, it's like 30 minutes later I get to eat it. But yeah, a lot of time is spent in the kitchen, and I enjoy every minute of it. Especially, I love not having to sit in front of the computer, so it's kind of like one of the more fun parts. But it is long, like think about Thanksgiving Day when you stand in the kitchen all day and you're like so tired after. That's how I feel.
If you don't feel like eating, you're like, I'm done. Have you ever had a major fail recipe?
Oh, I've had a lot.
Like, what is this?
I've had a lot that never make it to the Instagram, never make it to. I tried a cauliflower brownies once.
Oh my goodness, that sounds a little weird.
They were nasty. I've seen other people find success with them, and I've even tried other people.
I've even done with sweet potatoes, I think.
No, I've done sweet potato.
Okay.
I've even done brownies with zucchini that are fine, but I've tried them. Good. The cauliflower has never worked for me. And I love cauliflower in a lot of. I know.
Just maybe not with chocolate.
No, it was bad. So yeah, no, I've had a ton of fails. I think that's what people don't realize is behind the few pretty pictures you see, there's like 10 or 20 more bad ones that didn't work out.
But how great for you to just keep going and really being passionate and true to what you want to do. So here's a question. This is what you do for your job now. Like when I first met you, you were teaching 25 hours, 25 classes.
Yeah.
week and I didn't know when you slept or how your body did that. But to know how you've truly stuck with this is so motivating to me, and I know everyone listening and watching this, because it's just so cool that you followed through with what you want to do. So what have you done to really make it a success? Like, if you could give 3 tips to someone who's like, I would love to do something like that. I don't want to be in my cubicle, and I know that I have something to share with people. Like, 3 or more, whatever you want to share. Things that you have learned, hurdles you might have overcome, just share with us.
Well, first of all, it does all start with the passion. So when I started this and when we became friends, I had no idea that, a year and a half later, this would be my job. And I mean, I was happy to just be teaching. I was driving myself crazy, but I was happy because I was doing something that I loved. I had already kind of quit my real job at that point to do what I loved. So my first, I guess, piece of advice would be to forget that fear and almost embrace it, because the fear is motivating. I think you need something to kind of keep that fire lit under your butt a little bit to keep pushing you forward. And you see those quotes that say, do something every day that scares you. And I completely agree with that. You should never feel comfortable or it's gonna feel too easy, right? You always want it to be challenging, especially if you're doing something passionate. Then you're never going to have a job where every single part of it is glamorous, but if you're doing it because you're passionate about it, you push through those hurdles and you find a way to make it work. So forget the fear. I would also say learning as much as you can about everything related to what you are doing and want to do. So for instance, I had a healthy cooking Instagram, but I couldn't just cook all the time. I had to learn about Instagram. I had to learn about what people respond to. I had to learn about ebooks. I had to learn about marketing. I had to learn about editing a video, doing these things that I've never done before, and watching YouTube videos. It's not just about that one thing you're doing, it's everything else around it, and just being educated. So you can never learn too much. Read books, watch videos, find people you admire. I always look up to Shalene and just her as a businesswoman, in addition to all of her wonderful health and fitness feats. So learning is never going to hurt you. And then along with that, I guess I would say always working on being a better you. So having personal goals, multiple at the same time, related to mental health, physical health, your business, small, shorter term goals, longer term goals, and constantly just trying to be a better person, even if it's something small, like I want to start doing this every day, doing that. And being a better you is going to really motivate and inspire you, because at the end of the day, you can find, so-and-so motivates me and inspires me, but you have to be the one inspiring yourself if you really want a passion to become a full-time thing. At the end of the day, when you get bored and tired and you don't feel like doing it anymore, so-and-so isn't going to come and motivate you. You have to motivate you. Like you said, even if you help one person, it becomes worth it. And there are other things too that of course motivate it, like for me, not having to have that cubicle job, knowing that I can be my own boss. Some of the days are going to be longer and harder, but it's worth it.
It's so worth it. The freedom to choose.
Set your schedule. Work out when you want to work out. I would never trade it.
Even on those hard days.
Even on the hard days.
Up until 3 a.m. or putting the couch on top of the bed, right?
Especially the hard ones, because like I said, even though you get tired, you're doing something for you. You're working for yourself, which is so much more rewarding.
And that feeling in your gut, like you're just like, oh, this is awesome. I can make it through. And when you spoke, you were speaking my language. When you talked about like personal development, I preach that all the time. And I just think it's so important to always work on us, because, every day life is life, and it comes at us. And I think when you put yourself out there, like in YouTube, Instagram, all of that, there are going to be like haters in quotes. And so really working on us and knowing our purpose and that we feel confident is so huge, right?
It's so important, especially if you're I mean, any business, you're kind of putting yourself out there, but especially on a social media platform,
Right.
there are the haters no matter what.
Right.
No one's
Right.
perfect, and even if you are perfect, someone's going to hate you for
Yes.
that. So, and especially in health and fitness, there's always going to be those haters who hate health or hate fitness, or you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're never,
Or they
you're
just
never
love
good enough.
to give negative
Yeah,
comments. Right?
exactly. And you have to find it within yourself to say, it's going to happen, and that's not the person I'm doing this for.
Yeah.
This person that left this really inspirational comment is the one I'm doing it for.
Right.
And if you can't find that confidence within yourself, you're going to have trouble because no one else is going to come and give it to you.
Right. And surrounding ourselves with people that are supportive, like friends, family, and your boyfriend,
Yep.
and just everyone having that is really important, right?
Yeah, being around people that have negativity, it's so draining, and
Yeah.
I've tried to just cut that out of my life completely, and only, your time is precious. I don't, one of my biggest pet peeves is people who waste my time,
Right.
and I don't want to give anyone my time if it's not going to be satisfying and motivating
I agree.
and happy. Why waste your time being upset and being negative?
Amen to that. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. How did you balance it all between that and taking photos and posting and sharing? I mean, you're like Wonder Woman.
I have a lot of whiteboards.
I love
And-
whiteboards.
Me too.
I'm a huge fan of
And I have a
whiteboards.
lot of calendars. I'm really unorganized with if you go see my desk, you can't find anything.
Okay, but you know where it is.
But I know it's underneath that third book, but when it comes to my planners, I'm like uber color coded.
Oh, I like
so I have a different planner for every social media platform.
Smart.
I have but then I have one that brings them all together. I have two whiteboards, one that's like a huge one for my weekly. I divide it up into 7, and Monday through Sunday, I put everything I need to get done. The essentials are color coded, and without that organization,
Right.
nothing would get done.
Right.
Because you always in your head, you prioritize last minute. Well, like, this is kind of more important, I should do this one. It's like, no, this is what I actually need to be doing. I'm just putting it off. So I have those things that every single day, this is what I need to get done. And trying to be on a schedule, which does get hard. You start to travel for your business and all those things. But when you can be on a schedule and, every Monday, this time to this time, this is what I do. And you set those goals and get them done, and just being efficient. Otherwise,
That's great.
I'd die.
I love that. I need color-coded organizers. Or
Yeah,
planners,
yeah.
for sure. So now that you're a year and a half into it, do you feel like you're allowed to work a little bit less? Or is it just that I'm just curious. Or do you feel like, just because you figure things out, you have a system for things better now than trying to figure it out and spending hours? So
I feel like I should work a little bit less just because I know I work too much.
Okay, yeah.
But I know I do it because I love it.
Right.
So I don't ever feel like unhappy doing it, but I know like sometimes I need to just take a break and go do something fun.
And, get out of the house.
Exactly. Get out of the house,
something.
go out to dinner, go see friends or whatever. So it is something I'm working on, and now we're to the point where we can outsource some of the stuff. I don't need to be doing everything.
Right.
Even if I can do it, I don't need to. And
When it's your baby.
it's your baby. You
It's
don't want to
hard.
hand it off. You don't want to. It's hard to
Right.
trust people. It's hard to make sure they're going to do it the way you want it done. And any kind of control freak knows what I'm talking about. But once you do let it go, it makes your life so much easier and enjoyable. And you can spend that time and energy doing bigger and better things.
Right.
Hand off the monkey work.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's time to hand off even more. And
That's exciting.
yeah, it is exciting. It's scary, but it's
Right,
exciting. And because it just means we can have more things to work on.
Right, even more time to be creative. and
Exactly.
all of that. That's wonderful. So if someone is watching this, and I go back to that person because I know that what the point of my Molly Motivates is to really motivate people to, be inspired. Like you said, they have to do the work themselves.
Yeah.
But if they have that desire, what would you say to them, like when they have those days where they're like, I could not do this. I mean, she could do it, but I don't think I could do it. I mean, did you ever have those moments? And like, what were you like, I'm just doing it because I just really want this.
I said it before, I don't like to waste time. And when I do have those moments where I feel discouraged or I feel annoyed or I just don't feel like doing it, I have to think like, how much time am I wasting just thinking this way? You know, I have to, sometimes you just have to push through and make yourself do it. And sometimes you have to just take a break, because that's another thing that I think a lot of people don't do, especially workaholics. So like I said, knowing when to hand things off, and knowing that it's okay. If you aren't feeling it this day, do something else and come back to it when you can have a level head, or go work out. If I go work out, sometimes I come back and I'm like, okay, now I'm motivated.
Total ultimate energizer.
But sometimes you have to just embrace that it's not going to happen right now and do it later, but actually do it. So you don't just use it as an excuse and never come back to it.
Right. And then to that same person who's thinking, okay, I've got this awesome idea, I'm very excited. Where do I start? If I picked two, do I pick a certain social media platform, or is there one that you think is better, or do you just think I should do whichever one speaks to me? I mean, do you have an opinion on that?
I think it's going to completely depend on what your project is. I think you have to do, like I said before, solving the problem. So what is going to get your information across the best? Do you need photo? Do you need video? Do you need text? How do you want these people to view your information is how I would choose a platform. But I do think that social media, you have to have it. You can't almost run any business now without social media. And I fully believe this in my core, because I actually hate social media. I hate personal Facebook. I hate personal Twitter. I do not get on it, but I run an Instagram account and a YouTube channel, right? So you do the things you don't want to do because you're solving the problem for bigger and better purposes. So just choosing the platform that's going to help you get to the people you want to get.
Right. That's great. So you have new things coming up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what can we look for?
So the YouTube is the biggest project. We just did, in January, we did a everyday posting series, a Kickstart series. It was a Kickstart to a Healthier You. So every single day we posted to kind of hold people accountable to their resolutions and goals. That was our first big project of the year. And then next month, or I can't remember when, March or April, we're launching a 2-ingredient takeover series, which we did last year, but we're kind of doing a second season of it, where we do 2-ingredient healthy recipes on YouTube. So that's a big project. I'm working on a new ebook, a healthy junk foods ebook. So taking all of, I know,
sounds like an oxymoron. I love it.
I know, taking all of those, like, you know, your favorite pizza, burgers, fries. And
sign me up for that.
yeah, really.
Awesome.
And just making those things guilt-free, if you will. So, like, you know, like I said, it's not bad to go enjoy a burger or a slice of pizza, but if you're at home and you want to do it, just make it a little bit healthier. So that's kind of a big project. And then I guess the next big thing is that we're moving to LA. So I know, it's so exciting, because, you know, doing YouTube, it's just like the place to be. They have so many resources and so many people who are excited to be a part of what you're doing. So that's kind of the biggest project for the first half of the year is moving. Yeah.
So we will end this, but I want to ask you, like, how does it feel? Like, talking about all this, like, I'm sitting here so excited for you, but how does it feel to be like, I've done this, and we've, you know, accomplished all these things we want, and now we're moving to LA, and my life is by my design. I am in charge of what happens. We are in charge of what happens, you know, and that like gives me chills. Like,
it is.
Chills under
It's
here.
unreal, but the thing that's so silly about it is everybody is capable. Everybody's in charge of their own life, you know? So if you want to change, you're the one that has to make it. And that's, once you can really accept that no one else is in control, no one else is there dealing out the cards, you know, if you can really accept and embrace that, then your life will be changed.
Even if it feels scary.
Yeah, and it will be scary. It will be
fear.
scary. People think like, oh, you must not be scared. You must not. You know, I think anyone that's starting a new project like this or a business, they're scared because there are risks.
Right.
But if you don't take the risk,
How do you know?
Yeah.
How do you know? How can
and what have
change
you
your
really
life?
got to lose? That's another thing. Like,
Right.
everybody thinks, well, oh, job and money and this and that. But when you get down to the bare bones of it, what is really not reversible? What can you not, if you take the risk, what's going to happen? Or can you take the risk in a smart way?
And then if you have to change things along the way, and
you will have to change things,
right,
yeah.
Right. That is okay.
Nothing is going to go as planned.
It won't. It won't. But that's so motivating, and I know that this is going to speak to so many people.
Thank
Your
you.
story is so great, and I know that everyone's going to learn from you, and I hope that they follow all of your things.
Thank
that
you. Me
have
too.
going on. I
Me
really
too.
do, and I feel that way because I am a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
My kids eat because of you. So thank you so much for helping me
love
feed
that.
my children
Yes, of
and my
course.
family. So I have enjoyed having you here.
Yes, thank you so much.
I wish you guys so much luck in LA, and I'm excited to have you in California.
I know.
I'm just going to be a little bit selfish here, and I look forward to hanging out with you in Christian.
I'm all about it. New friends.
And watching you guys just keep on growing and being more successful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wasn't that great having Alyssia come and share with us her story and how she has gone from taking her passion to her purpose, to what she gets to do every day for her job? Was it scary? Did she have fears? Of course she did. But she believed in it so much that now she's living a life by her design. She's able to wake up each day super excited about what she gets to do and how she gets to help other people. I'm so inspired and motivated by her. I hope that you are too. So be sure to follow her at mindovermunch.com, as well as her Instagram and her YouTube channel. You are going to love them. If you like this video, of course, be sure to check out more of my videos at mollymotivates.com. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Go live your life on purpose.